Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. And snow. Okay. I've reacted to quite a bit World War II British planes. World War II. Sorry, I meant to distinguish the World War II, not the British. And I just kind of curious, even more so about the planes in World War One, since I know that they were extremely new technology and adapting them for military purposes, right, kind of in its inception, right? There was no resemblance of a plane prior to 1900, right? I'm not saying that there weren't flying like hot air balloons, right? I think there were French hot air balloons in the 1700s. Let me know if I'm wrong here. But anyways, I'm talking too much. I'm just trying to learn about planes. That's it.
Throughout history, victory's been decided by what's going on down here on the surface of the Earth. Britain, for example, in the 19th century came to dominate the globe by controlling the world's oceans. But from the First World War onwards, warfare took to the skies, and now controlling the air is a key part of military strategy. And all that began with those brave pioneer aviators of the First World War.
Brave for sure.
In 1909, Louis Blériot set off on a flight that would make history. His aim was to win a prize of £1,000 for the first plane to cross the English Channel. It wasn't the most elegant of flights and ended in a rather rough landing. But he'd made it.
The plane he flew was a Blériot 11, like this one here. It's amazing it got that far. It looks so flimsy. Even more remarkably, this one still flies.
Guys, I think because of the hot air balloons that were created before airplanes, I'm sure it would have been even more insane if those didn't exist. So the concept of people being able to fly at all, regardless of if they were hot air balloons, imagine being around when the first one of these happens, when the first person crossed the channel. You must have felt so futuristic and
Not exactly Top Gun. When the war started 5 years later, planes like this were still in production, and a few visionaries thought these might have a military application. With that, the first major air war had begun. First, planes like this were reconnaissance vehicles. They were having a look at what was going on behind enemy lines and reporting back. But gradually they started actually taking an active role on the battlefield. Pilots were issued with these nasty-looking things, flechettes, spikes that if you drop out the side might hit enemy troops, or even bombs.
Planes were now an important weapon of war.
You gotta be kidding. There's no way I'd go up in this thing. This might have been the future, but it's pretty primitive. In fact, I feel like I'm sitting in a wicker garden chair surrounded by a sea of canvas. To steer it, you just move this column, and it's connected by a very flimsy-looking set of wires to the wings themselves, not little flappy bits like modern aircraft. The whole wings move, they twist. It's a system called wing warping.
they look like they're made of similar material to ship sails of the time.
The whole wings move.
Of the time, they were. Never mind, but they look like ship sails. That's what I'm saying.
The wings themselves, not little flappy bits like modern aircraft. The whole wings move, they twist. It's a system called wing warping. The engine is underpowered and prone to overheating. It can only fly at 47 miles per hour. Could only go at about 3,000 feet, no more. And as for the instrument panel, you get one dial, your oil pressure. That's it.
He says only fly at 40 miles an hour. But I'm surprised it can fly that slowly. That's sort of impressive.
Ooh.
But as planes went into service in World War I, the pressure was on to improve the technology. soon there was an arms race that pushed aircraft development at an astonishing rate.
The pace of innovation in those years was like nothing seen before or since. Just a few years into the war, they had planes like that.
Guys, this is not an advocation for more world wars, but undoubtedly, without World War I and World War II, or just conflicts in general, it seems like that's when we really kick our innovation gear into overdrive. And I'd imagine we'd have much less technology if it weren't for it. What do I know? But just, I'm not saying war is good. Oh, kilometers per hour. How fast is that? Miles per hour.
Is that cool? What makes this aircraft so distinctive are 3 sets of wings. Now they're designed to give that aircraft the necessary lift, but make the wings narrower so the pilot can see more of what's going on the ground. It also made the plane very, very maneuverable. There's an old story that the first ever test pilot amazed onlookers by doing 3 consecutive loop-the-loops. That plane can fly 117 miles an hour. That's 2.5 times as fast as the Blériot, and it can fly 7 times higher. Such was the pace of innovation that some planes that were cutting edge could be obsolete just a few months later.
Guys, so the height limit, so is it just get to a point where air is a lot thicker on the ground, and so it can kind of glide more? So it's just that air gets to a gets thin enough at a point upwards. I can't speak English words right now. You get to a point up in the atmosphere where the air just can't support the plane because it's just not a thick enough medium. I mean, the balls to drive this thing even not,
But innovation wasn't just changing how these planes flew, it was changing how they fought. It's said that at the very start of the war, when enemy planes passed each other, they'd give a friendly wave.
Hey, isn't this cool? Yeah.
That didn't last, and the age of air-to-air combat was born. At first, it was just the pilots taking pot shots with a pistol.
I love how he looked affronted. Like, what are you doing?
Combat was born. At first, it was just the pilots taking pot shots with a pistol. But the next generation of aircraft would have guns as part of their design.
It soon became clear the most effective way for the weapon to point was in the direction that the aircraft is travelling. Big problem there, though, of course, is you end up shooting your own propeller off, which is a bit of a disaster.
Yeah, they're able to time it. This is insane to me. This level of mechanical precision and being able to shoot in between propellers, just my brain just cannot.
The first solution they tried was to mount a machine gun on top of the wing, on top of the propeller. The trouble with that was that the pilot basically had to sort of stand up in his seat, release his strap, stand up here, and replace the magazine when it ran out of bullets. Completely unworkable, really. This SE5 had a system whereby the gun could slide back down to be reloaded and then slide up into its firing position. Still very cumbersome, though.
There had to have been times then where he's like, "You done reloading? You good?" And then you look back and he's just gone. Either he fell or he got shot when he was standing up or something. Because with all of the noise that must be happening, and obviously any blood or anything is going to go backwards. I need freedom units.
The Germans soon came up with an even better solution that was quickly copied by the Brits. To show you how it works, I'm going to need to slow this down. They connected the machine gun to the crankshaft of the propeller.
Frickin' Germans, man. So That's genius.
with a series
Because I'm thinking, even okay, well, you time the shooting and the propeller, you calibrate it right. Yeah, but it's so minute that I'm assuming the smallest little out, then boom, the propeller's gone. But they're in the same. It's the same thing. The same
cam plates, and that meant the machine gun
Oh, people are so smart.
only fired when these propellers' blades weren't in the way. It was a very precise bit of engineering. Get it wrong, you blow your own propeller off.
I'm picturing when the propeller gets blown off, you just go down. But I mean, you could still glide, I'm guessing.
The amazing thing about
To anyone who knows stuff about planes, I'm sure it's very painful for you to listen to me right now. I apologize for that.
The amazing thing about the First World War is that by the end of it, pretty much every significant part of aerial warfare was already in development. Planes were being used for reconnaissance, for communications, for dropping supplies, for dropping bombs, and for air-to-air combat.
Who do you think would have a better shot? The best World War II plane up against a World War I? It definitely. I was going to say the best World War II. I'll finish my sentence. The best World War II plane against the best World War I plane, or the best modern jet versus the best World War II. But not really fair because of the time distance. 20 years versus 25 years versus 80 or something. Never mind. Really cool video, and I didn't expect Dan Snow to be in it. I just wanted to find a good video on an intro to World War I planes, and Dan Snow happened to be in it. My favorite history presenter, easily. Hope you guys are doing well. Would appreciate any comments, answers to any of my questions, or comments in general. Hi. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.